Hey, welcome to another proven email breakdown video. Today we're taking a look at an email that's something that I call a massive value email. This was written by Neville Medhora. He's a great copywriter, the founder of copywritingcourse.com. And his style is known for these really unique graphics, like stick figures and pasting together various types of graphics and these types of images. So it's very approachable. It's very beginner friendly, visual. I think he's an amazing teacher because unlike me, who likes to do these super long form videos, which may be boring to a lot of people, but hopefully not to you if you're watching this. He's very visual in this regard. So yeah, I mean, I love his style. It's just I'm probably too lazy to do this, and I maybe cater to a different type of audience in a sense. But in any case, this email is actually a part of a long form blog post. So he did a blog post called the 24 psychological triggers, like Joe Sugarman's psychological triggers. And if you're not familiar with Joe Sugarman, he's one of those pioneers in the world of direct response marketing and copywriting. He was the second person I broke down during my 100-day proven sales letter breakdown challenge. Link in the description to that entire playlist. Check it out. It's amazing. I mean, I don't want to hype up my own playlist, but it's really unique. Like nobody else does something like that, especially not on YouTube. But safe to say, Joe Sugarman wrote a book called the Adweek Copywriting Handbook, which is like required reading. It's among the top 5 books that you should read as a beginner copywriter. I might leave a link to a compilation of books under this video that you can check out that I recommend. However, in that book, he talks about psychological triggers, the 24 psychological triggers that convince people to buy stuff. Okay, so Neville created a long form, really valuable blog post, and then extrapolated part of that, like 1/3 of that, and use it as this email. So the whole email, and we can see it's 19 pages. It's a 19-page email. And sure, it has a lot of graphics and stuff like that, but it's still 19 pages, right? It's a long form email. However, the copy itself isn't really that super long because you have all these graphics to add, to highlight some key aspects for each of these chapters. And then the call to action is see the full list of 24 triggers here, which is a very smart call to action if you think about it, because we're introduced to 11 of the triggers. And then if you're making it here, like if you're reading this email and you read 11 and they all made sense and it's great things, you can learn amazing things from this, then why wouldn't you click this button, right? I mean, it just makes sense for you to click this button because then you're gonna learn more. So I'm guessing the click-through rate on this email is pretty high. So, I don't want to read the entire email because it's pretty long here, but just a few things that are going on here. So first of all, again, we see this over and over again. The best emails, they don't use throat clearing copy. They just get into it. And he's also like, here's 24 psychological triggers. It's not like, hey, have you ever heard about a guy called Joe Sugarman? It's like, no, here you go, because he assumes that his audience knows this already. Then we have some visual proof elements here, like he with Joe Sugarman, very handsome guy, by the way, with some autograph books, and this was probably on a seminar or something like that. And then he says that I also use this list all the time. I simply browse through this list of triggers, and at least one of them will spark my creativity. So here are all the triggers. This is kind of like a table of contents. And again, I encourage you to spend more time on this because this is really cool stuff. And read the book for yourself if you really want to get deeper into this. I'm gonna leave a link in the description section. Check it out. It's the best copywriting and marketing books that I recommend. But then let's see some of these triggers. And that's why I call this the massive value email, because it doesn't sell anything, not directly at least. Well, maybe not even indirectly in this case. But instead, it builds a lot of value. Like it builds relationship. It creates tons of value for readers, and it's engaging. It's kind of edutaining type of email. Like there's this concept called edutainment, which means education combined with entertainment, and that's why the graphics are used as entertainment, right? So, and I definitely recommend you read this entire email. You're gonna have access to these PDF files when you subscribe to the 5 Principles of Sending Rainmaker Emails mini course. It's free, and you get a bunch of cool stuff regarding email copywriting. So I definitely recommend you check it out. But let's just cover it like on a higher level here. The first one is the feeling of involvement and ownership, right? This is a good lesson. Again, he teaches us something. He says that, if you make people imagine owning that product or course or transformation that you're selling, then they are far more likely to buy because they start visualizing already. And in previous videos, we talked about the fact that from a cognitive point of view, our brains don't really distinguish too much between real world images and like mental images. That's why visualization is powerful, and it works to some degree because you can do this, and you can basically hack your brain around this. The second, honesty. I'm a huge believer on this. Honesty definitely converts, and Joe Sugarman was a pioneer in this. Actually, he was known, and there's an example here, Magic Baloney. You'll love the way we hated the magic stat thermostat until an amazing thing happened. Ooh, what's the amazing thing? So what an interesting headline. It doesn't talk about the benefits of the product or how unique or special it is, but instead of like, you love the way how we hated it. We hated it until something amazing happened. Well, what's the amazing thing? Now you gotta find out, right? And this is the sales letter here. I might even break this down eventually. I don't know. Should I? Leave a comment below if you want me to break down this sales letter, because it seems pretty cool. I haven't seen this before. So the idea here is that if you're honest about your products and services and offerings, people definitely appreciate that. Especially nowadays, they can Google many stuff and they can see through your bullshit, except if you're selling an NFT scam, a rug pull. Unfortunately, people are still very susceptible to these types of scams. But if you're watching this video, don't get fooled by all these influencers who are pitching you get-rich-quick schemes and NFTs. They're just... now they're doing NFTs. They used to do crypto, like a typical Bitcoin, not Bitcoin, crypto-related stuff. Before that, they used to do all sorts of other stuff. And I'm not saying crypto or Bitcoin is bad. I also own Bitcoin, for example. But just be careful with these types of things and look for honesty, because that's a good indication in most cases that you're buying from someone who you can trust. And honesty goes really well, goes basically hand in hand with integrity. And again, like if you see a headline like this, instant profits overnight, make $1,000 site in 4 minutes. Like, come on, dude. We all know that making a site, first of all, it takes way more than 4 minutes. And then secondly, you're not going to make $1,000 from it. So if you keep exaggerating this stuff, and Neville, again, he's kind of teaching here. He's weaving this master structure that Joe Sugarman came up with into, like he's adding extra details to it, his own thoughts. And it's really effective at teaching people while also being educational. While also being... entertaining. Like, look at this picture here. We're talking about integrity, and then there's the devil, buy now, lying, and it's just fun. I like this. Credibility, again, and this is like a very important point here. Honesty plus integrity equals credibility. And remember, people need credibility to trust you. And what does trust mean? It means more sales and more deeper relationships, especially over emails. And that's the main objective of your email marketing, is to build genuine relationships, if possible, with your audience, so that they know, like, and trust you. And we talked about this many times before, the know, like, and trust factor. If you can do that, then you have a gold mine sitting under you. But you don't have to, like, you cannot abuse it, because then it's very easy to lose that trust that you've worked so hard to build with people. So the next one, value and proof of value. This relates to pricing psychology and price anchoring. How, you know, it's usually best practice to position your product against an inferior competitor, which is like more expensive but worse at the same time. Obviously, this gives people kind of like a reference point, and it makes them makes it easier for them to feel like they're smart if you're buying this or your product. The sixth one, justify the purchase. So this is what I mentioned a few times before when I was talking about reason why elements. And Gary Bencivenga, arguably the best copywriter of all time, was huge on reason why elements. There are a lot of these types of elements, and I broke down several Gary Bencivenga ads before. Again, link in the description. That's the 100-day proven sales letter breakdown series. Check it out, because you can learn so much from Gary Bencivenga. It's no wonder why he's the most successful copywriters of all time. Well, he is the best, the most successful. Even to this day, nobody was able to beat him in sheer like conversion power when it comes to sales letters and ads. So the next one is greed, a core emotion, and Neville just talks about, and look at this graphic, it's so cool. He just talks about like how it works. Like, people, they want flash sales. Just look at Black Friday and Cyber Monday, especially Black Friday, like how much sales is happening during Black Friday, even though we know that some of those might not be true, like true discounts, but still, people, they want to feel like they're making a smart buy. Establish authority, the next one, and here he talks about various types of proof. For example, doing this as featured in, image compilation. You can see this all over the place. Every single celebrity and guru and authority and expert uses a version of this. I also use a version of this. I just don't say as featured in, but I should add more stuff to that, because that's pretty old, and since then I've really been featured in some pretty cool places. The next one, satisfaction conviction, and this is risk reversal. So are you noticing how these persuasion triggers, they're kind of like all the essential things needed for people to buy, for them to convert from non-buyer to buyer to customer. All these things, they're needed for them to actually trust you enough and open their hearts and wallets for you. All these things. And as you're writing copy, you're always using these, a version of these. Like, you're using greed when you're talking about maybe make money style benefits. You're using reason why elements all the time. You're using credibility and proof elements, and you establish authority, and then you always give them a risk reversal if you're selling a product. Well, maybe if it's like a super high ticket program that's it's very hard for you to offer a risk reversal. But even then, you don't necessarily have to think money back guarantee when we're talking about risk reversals. You just have to lower their risk. So even if you promise to work with them until they get the results that they were hoping for, even that's like a risk reversal. You don't necessarily have to think about money back guarantees. Just something to keep in mind. And then a few cool examples of like Zappos and a few other cases in which even like word-for-word scripts that you can use to come up with your own risk reversal. This part relates to positioning. This is less of a copywriting thing. It's more like a business and marketing thing. Current fads. It's always good to stay relevant and try to discover what the current zeitgeist of your target market is and appeal to that. You can use Google Trends for that, for example. And then the rest, it's people have to click to read the rest. And I think it's a genius call to action, and it's very smart to structure it this way, because again, if people read 11 of these, chances are they're going to want to read the remaining 13, right? And that's when they're gonna click. And then we have a PS section, which basically says, do you have any additional psychological triggers or examples of when they've used any of these? Please share in the comments. And again, very smart linking here. Please share in the comments, because people, you know, if they're active, they want to like leave a comment, this already takes them to the post. So yeah, the aim of this is to drive people to the website, which is probably, it has some soft pitches somewhere, maybe as a sidebar or something like that as well, and also just to say to serve Neville's audience. So yeah, great email when you're thinking about a massive value type of email. You don't always have to do these. In fact, in most cases, you don't have to use these. This is a special type of email, but it's like if you can do something like this, people are going to definitely appreciate, and they're even share it. Like one improvement opportunity for this email could be to add like a referral section of like, hey, did you enjoy this super valuable email? Make sure to forward it to someone else. Then you can unlock some free stuff, you know, or something like that. I have a version of that. I don't always use it in every single one of my emails, but I have a version of that. And yeah, that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe if you're new here. And also, I would appreciate it if you could share this with someone else, because you know, I think they can also learn a lot from it, especially if they're copywriters or email marketers or something like that. And thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.